Is ChatGPT the best new game dev tool? Let's find out. We have here a game designer's new friend, ChatGPT. I'm curious about it because I do use ChatGPT quite a lot, and I am very much interested in how other people use it. So let's look at that. Is ChatGPT the best new game dev tool? Let's find out. In this article, we show game designers how ChatGPT can be used as a game dev tool in real life. We share our prompts and analyze the results. Find out how we can use those results, plus what ChatGPT gets right about game design and where it needs some extra help. Yeah, so first of all, I do use ChatGPT a lot when developing Lost Harmony, my game I'm working on right now. Where ChatGPT becomes most helpful is when you just need to think through something. Use it for brainstorming. It can also be really useful for brainstorming through, for thinking through a lot of information, for figuring out ideas, deciding what you want to implement, and just thinking through everything. ChatGPT is really, really useful if you know what you are doing. If you're just copy-pasting code or ideas or whatnot, it's gonna end up really, really badly. Like, it's gonna suck. Whatever work you are doing, it's gonna suck. But if you are actually somewhat expert and you have some experience, you know what's good and what's bad, ChatGPT just skyrockets your productivity on some really, really high percentages. 2023 has brought with it tons of new AI-based tools, and game developers around the world are discussing how these new tools will affect the industry in the future. Proponents are excited about the new opportunities, while others worry that AI may strip games of their originality and creative uniqueness. What originality and creative uniqueness? Has the author seen like AAA games? No, to be fair, I am being a bit harsh here. It's true that there are still some AAA games that are gonna be really cool. As far as I'm concerned, I am purely optimistic about it. I think AI is gonna unlock so much potential for small developers and just indie devs who are trying to make their cool game. It's gonna skyrocket their productivity, and they are gonna be able to work faster. And even people who have less skill, let's say they have less experience, are gonna be able to now do much cooler stuff. Andrew, it speeded up my productivity at least 3 times. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I would agree, maybe even more. I'm super happy with it. And also this idea of stripping of originality, I don't know why that would be the case with AI. There is this weird concept that the humans are capable of some such a thing as originality, and I don't find that very convincing. Like, what we consider original is basically just a remix of things that we have seen before, and that's exactly what AI is doing. So, alright. So instead of peering too far into the future today, let's try to understand how AI can help game designers right now. Just talk with it, honestly. It's a great duck. It's a great duck. Either way, my name is Maria Axiutina. Guys, give it up for Maria. She wrote the article, so we're absolutely gonna give her some props. Very good. Thank you for giving us something we can offer our opinion on. And if you have a Medium article account, we could all go up here and show our respect. I'm a game designer at my games. In this article, I will share the results of my research. I try to find out how well the sensational ChatGPT copes with game design tasks and whether it can actually be used in our work. I identified 5 types of tasks: game idea generation, describing in-game mechanics, game balance calculation, generating in-game text, and creating technical tasks for specialists. Okay, I can see with all of these, ChatGPT can definitely assist. It can help, but I am not confident at all that ChatGPT or any other LLM right now would be able to completely outsource these tasks. I would not be confident in either of them. Maybe in-game texts, but even there I would be very careful not letting it do everything. There are currently 2 versions of ChatGPT available, 3.5 and 4. It's a 4 Turbo now, but that's fine, it's probably older. For this experiment, I decided to compare how these 2 versions deal with the same task. I ultimately concluded, wait, no, is she giving us a conclusion already? No, I wanna read for it and have it on the end. What's this? I ultimately concluded that both had more or less the same results. Huh, that's weird. In my experience, 4 performs way better. Like, by far, way better, especially for programming. With programming with 4 and with 3.5 is a huge difference. I spent approximately the same amount of time and effort correcting and improving the results with both versions. Makes sense. Let's start with the most interesting and exciting task for game designer. Creating new game. We will generate a task just like it might be given in a test task or at a game jam. Okay. You have been tasked with combining two core mechanics, idle and merge, and creating a hybrid casual game set in Victorian England. Draw inspiration from current trends and top grossing games in the genres of idle, arcade, simulation, blah blah blah. Write a brief concept document, 1,000 characters. That's not brief. That's very far from brief. Where you describe the game idea, core gameplay, elaborate on the game cycle, mechanics and their connection, the settings, the narrative, and the unique selling points USP in a way that your game will be better than what already exists in stores. Whew. Honestly, I would love to see a game designer that can do this. If you got a game designer that can like on spot create all the fulfill this task, then he or she is gonna be hired immediately like this. That's a tough task. Something that's already better than what exists in stores. That's tough to do. In Victorian Emporium, idle blah blah blah, players embark on a journey through the bustling streets of Victorian England. I can't speak. Where they inherit a small antique shop. The game combines the addictive mechanics of idle gameplay with the strategic decision making of merge mechanics. Not sure if that's really gonna be easy to combine. Those are tough, pretty different genres. Player starts with a modest collection of antique items and gradually expand their inventories by merging similar items to create valuable artifacts. The idle aspects comes into play as player can possibly generate income by displaying the artifacts and attract customers to their job. Okay, there's some sort of a passive passive growth of users makes sense. You get some weird crafting. I guess that's where the marriage mechanics come in. I don't think Chat AI is considering development times and return investment of these features and game mechanics. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's unless you tell him directly he should consider that. I doubt that he will. That's why this sentence is a bit silly. It's definitely strange way to go about it. I don't know. I am not entirely sure what they are trying to test here. What she is trying to test here. That's the thing. Because like if she's trying to test can AI fully do this task, then that's no. That's not even a question. That's just no. And don't need to do even much testing for that. And if you were trying to test that, you're gonna I guess you could do assignment like that, but if you had a game designer, you're not gonna give them assignment like this. Okay, game cycle. Okay, there we know it's not proper game designer. Game designer would say game loop, busted game loop and mechanics. Acquire and merge. Players acquire a variety of antique items such as furniture, paintings, blah blah blah. They just keep repeating what they said already. Doesn't seem to be very useful. Players strategically arrange their artifacts in a shop, blah blah blah. Content decorate, yeah, it's just doing the same thing. Jesus, that's the longest possible way how to describe a idle game. Honestly, that seems still like, I don't see there much of those merge mechanics. That's still just idle. I don't know if I would consider adding their merge mechanic just because you can combine the items. Well, I suppose that's what merge means. But it's not enough of, it's still fundamentally a idle game. These are not USP. These are not unique selling points. You already said it here. And every single game can have that. Like most idle games you can describe idle games to have this. This is not USP. Not even close. Okay. Managed pretty well? Jesus, maybe this is not such a good studio. I'm joking. Let's not take it. Let's not take this seriously. I would not say this is a good task. Well done. All of it is almost unusable except the setting. But I guess it depends. Depends on your point of view. The chat understood the task correctly and it knew the genres and basic mechanics well. I suppose knew the context. I guess that's success. All the game elements corresponded to given setting. Suppose so. The pitch was structured and all points were taken into account. Well, it just kept repeating like 4 points, maybe 3 times in each of these sentences. They repeated the same points, so I guess so. It could have been just us. It could have been this one, this part, or just this part, and it would have told the same story. You would get exactly the same idea as you have with the rest of the text. Yes, it could actually really be used as a pitch. I would feel ashamed for using this as a pitch. I'm not trying to ditch on the I forgot the name. I'm not trying to ditch on the Maria here, but I would be very ashamed for using this as a pitch. That would need a lot of work. However, there were also some drawbacks. It offered a very simple solution to the problems and bit too on the nose, I suppose. That's fair. The chat gave shallow descriptions of the game loops. Nah, well, I mean, it's an idle game, you don't do much. The pitch was made up of general phrases. It had little detail about the product. That's true. That's true. The USB description was based on marketing parameters, not potential unique benefits. True, but to be fair, to give ChatGPT, chatbot here, some sort of a credit here, she asked him to make a pitch. When you are making a pitch, you kind of wanna include as much of a marketing as well. Like imagine you are trying to get money from an investor, you wanna highlight how well this is gonna sell. And you can do that by highlighting how good the game is, but that may not be necessarily what the investor is reacting to. So I don't think I can hold this against the chatbot. That was kind of his instructions. It's automatically kind of given when you ask for pitch that it's gonna include mainly marketing because you are trying to pitch how well is it gonna sell. Still, in general, a game designer could use a pitch like this as a basis and then refine it further. That's true. That's very true. That I think is absolutely true. I would not ask for so much information. I would go way more point by point when chatting with AI, whatever LLM you're gonna use. Very good point. Absolutely agree here. It could also serve as a template, the starting point to creating your own game. Suppose so. It's kind of saying the same thing as the first one, so yes. Does she put here a difference between the? I'm not sure. I don't know which one is GPT-4, GPT-4 and GPT 3.5 because I don't think she makes a difference in it here. She says she tested with both of them, so I don't know, man. A bit sus. Okay, we have here. Let's continue. Describing mechanics. Once an idea has shaped up, it must be described in the documentation so that all developers. Wait, so are we making pitch or documentation? I don't know what she's trying to make him do. That's what makes it. You can't make a study if you don't have a specific, if you don't expect a specific outcome. Like you are making a test because you have a hypothesis and you are trying to prove if that hypothesis is true or not. And if you don't have a hypothesis on the start, the test is useless. But okay, yeah, it was not really clarified here very well on the start, unless I am having a fish brain, and completely forgetting it again, but I don't think it was clarified here, so at that point it makes the whole test kind of useless. Game designers often consider describing mechanics as their least favorite part of the work. But that's what game designers do. They make mechanics. Guys, tell me in the chat, what do you think do game designers do? Now, I understand there's like they do a lot of things, but describing mechanics... Like, I guess describing is fair, but like thinking it up and figuring out what the mechanics will be, that's quite literally the game designer's job. Exhibit 8, a review was AI created. Yeah, honestly, this makes me think it was. Maybe there's gonna be like a expose on the end when she's gonna say it, but very much an Exhibit 8, absolutely. Instead of feeding it with an exact description of the mechanics I needed it to describe, I created a rather abstract task with restriction to create a described control system for mobile FPS. Okay, here is the text of the request. Create and describe the character control mechanics for mobile first-person shooter. The player should have access to following actions: movement, shooting, dash, and grenade throw. There is nothing even original about it. This is just the most basic FPS, name the most base FPS mechanics possible. Oh no, oh gosh. Move, shoot, dash, and grenade, and throw grenade. Imagine and describe the character control mechanics for a mobile first, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Mechanics description. Movement. The player can control the character and movement by using a virtual joystick or swipe gestures on the screen. Tapping or sliding the joystick of the desired location, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's basically describing what it does. But that's kind of the, I don't know, man. That's the job of game designer. It's quite literally like, how is it move? Like, how is why is this first person shooter better than other first person mobile? Why is this mobile first person shooter better than other mobile first person shooters? Because it's controlled in some way where that's interesting. Like if you outsource this task, that actual important task, your actual unique selling point to AI, then no shit, you are not gonna get good results. Sheesh, not very nice. That's generic, most generic possible description you could have gotten. Yeah, it's not even much descriptive as well. It's describes the pretty common way of understanding. And to be fair, I mean, when you are describing a documentation for the rest of the team, you kind of need to be very explicit because we have a lot of different associations between these words. But still, not impressed, not at all. But I'm not impressed by the task given to AI, not by the AI's answer. Safe to say, ChatGPT handled this task well. Honestly, this really feels like ChatGPT wrote it. Imagine, each of these tasks is like, AI does something, and AI writing this article is like, good job, good job, AI. How smart we are. Yep, exactly. Exhibit B review was created by AI. Safe to say, ChatGPT handled this task well. The points of praise. ChatGPT understood and completed the task. Well, there is not much to misunderstand, to be fair. It not only offered control through a button system, but also via screen gesture, as you would expect from a mobile game. The description was clear and unstructured. Well, that's one way to say generic, but yeah. But as always, there were some things still needs to work on. The control system was described in general terms. Yep, well, you gave general task, what do you expect? ChatGPT didn't consider some exceptional cases, like when movement wasn't available for player. Fair, that actually is a fair critique. It also didn't sufficiently think through the states for the controls. I have not read it enough to actually say, but probably. And of course, these documents should be accompanied by explanatory schemes and mockups. That's not fair. You can't. Well, it's not actually beyond anymore, but maybe it may have been when the article was written, so who knows. Game balance calculation. ChatGPT's developer claimed that it can help solve mathematical problems. There are tons of examples of online showing ChatGPT solving such problems, but game designers often must work with cases where the conditions of task can sometimes be clear or incomplete. Okay, let's ask ChatGPT to task that developer might face. Present a configurations of a currency generator. That's a very complicated sentence. Present configurations of currency generators in an incremental idle game. Simulate the optimal choice of buying generators and plot the income per second from generators from playtime in minutes. PS. I don't think I have ever set to my chat bot PS, but well, you know what? Maybe if this is AI writing it, maybe he wants us to write it. This is not gonna end well. This is not good. This is not gonna be. Also, this is weird way to go about it. You are gonna always adjust this based on the game context, so based on player action. Maybe on AI on idle game, I guess you can just do some always percentile increment whenever you are upgrading, but that's gonna be very boring idle game. The player starts with one generator. The cost of revenue, blah blah blah, by following formula. Cons next time rate grow, owned productional base multiply by owned by multipliers. Makes sense. Okay, initialize the variables. Look at that. He's programming here to simulate the optimal choice of buying generators. A plot to income per second from generators based on playtime in minutes. We need specific values for the cost base rate growth. But that's so many words and they don't say anything. Wait, what? Am I misreading it or is this completely useless? It's an example of how we can simulate the optimal choice and plot the income per second from generators based on playtime. We're gonna start by initiating the variables, okay. You have one generator on the start, you have 0 income, you have a playtime in minutes, 0, income per second data, an empty array to store the income per second at each playtime interval. Why do we need to save it through each playtime interval? But let's see. Simulate the game loop. While the playtime is less than the desired duration, let's say 60 minutes. 60 minutes on idle game is a lot, but maybe they don't mean like one sitting. I'll calculate the cost for the next generator. I don't think you are gonna get the result you want. Also, that's just... This is such a weird way to go about designing it. I guess you could put in the equation that's gonna properly do it, but it's gonna get boring so fast. You're just hijacking the dopamine at the exact seconds. Income per second, production total divided by 60, assuming each minute has 60 seconds. That's not an assumption, each minute does have 60 seconds. At the income per second for the income per second data array. This is completely useless. He's trying to suggest how to know that data once the player actually is playing, but it's completely useless when you are trying to predict what value you want to put there to actually get it. Unless I'm fully misunderstanding it, but this seems like completely misunderstanding the point. Yeah, this seems completely useless. It's not gonna solve the problem here. If the goal is to get a presets configuration for currency generators, this is completely and utterly useless. Maybe if you are doing like a unit test or something like that, but for actually setting it up, this is useless. And that's just great. No, it's not great. This is this is evidence number 3. Where is my NJM? Get here exhibit C. This is not great. This is complete opposite of what you want. That's gotta be a ChatGPT writing the whole article. The chat understood the task correctly. No, it did not. Noted that some data was missing and supplemented the solution with its own value. In addition to the solution, ChatGPT provided comments on its actions. But you did not ask him to make a code. What the hell? And this is not even usable code. After getting the solution, you can enter your own values instead of those chosen by chat and adjust the calculation to fit your needs. No, this is not gonna calculate you anything. Listen, it's possible that I'm completely misunderstanding this. It's a very, very complicated way how to say something, very simple. But this seems completely useless to me. This seems like it could work when you are trying to measure, like you have someone playing for an hour and you are trying to measure back how soon they needed it. Okay, in-game text. That's one that I actually would very much would very much believe that ChatGPT can help here a lot. So let's see. Let's move from mathematical problems to, yeah, we really do need to move from there to a more creative area of development. Now you just insulted all the mathematicians. Do you have any idea how incredibly creative math is? Sheesh. I would be very, very careful in saying that programming or math is less creative than writing. That's just fundamentally misunderstanding creativity. ChatGPT handles writing, marketing, and journalist text very well. No, it doesn't. It writes it decently enough, but not well. But can it ace writing in-game dialogues? Let's always give benefit of a doubt, but yeah. I am being like 80 to 90% sure that this is ChatGPT article. Here's our task for ChatGPT. Write 3 small dialogues for a free-to-play match-free game. Yeah, I do have dialogues in match-free game. Concept, coffee renovation, characters, coffee owner, assistant, disgruntled, landlord. Choose the character who will participate in the dialogue on your own. Audience, woman, 35 plus. Oh, that's why it has dialogues. That was very sexist of me. Wow. Certainly. Here are 3 short dialogues, blah, blah, blah. Coffee owner, we have made great progress in restoring coffee. It's starting to look amazing. I'm glad, blah, blah, blah. Our work is paying off. New cozy atmosphere. Coffee owner, we couldn't have done it without you. Well, look at that. Oh, that's all? That's the whole dialogue? Okay, cool. Oh, the landlord seems upset. What could be the problem? Let's find out, because you didn't pay your rent. Jesus. We have invested so much into this cafe. Well, not rent, apparently. You are behind on your rent. I called it! Knew it! Knew it. Why do you think he is upset? Oh, why don't we pay him a rent? Jesus. I expect payment soon. No, you expect it immediately. If she's behind, you expect it now, not soon. Just imagine you're gonna come to your landlord and you're gonna be like, hey, I know I did not pay my rent, but it's fine. I am reconstructing my furniture and I will pay it when I can. Don't worry about it, guys. It's fine. Jesus, very realistic scenario here. Coffee owner. More customers without delicious, many lovely coffee. Efforts are paying off. The positive reviews are pairing. Let's keep challenging ourselves with new match-free levels and surprise our customers with delightful treats. And how about you paying the rent? There is no conclusion to the story. There has been introduced a problem. We have a rent to pay. Okay, we have here. This could actually have been somewhat consistent story, right? They could have done something like they are reconstructing the code, but oh no, the conflict has been introduced. They need to pay rent and they can't because they did it, but all their work has paid off because they invested in reconstructing the coffee whatever shit they are doing, coffee ambience. That's weird. But then let's say they invested in their ambience, and now because of the investing in the ambience, they are making more money and they can pay their rent. There could have been a nice story in there, but it's not connected at all. It's completely independent dialogues. Well, that's not good. Advantages of this solution. Free short dialogues with small number of remarks and short phrases. This is fully consistent with the formal recommendations for game. What is formal recommendations for game dialogues? Is it some standardized thing we should know about? No. Where did she get it from? Where? Oh, it's from here. She made it up, guys. She made it up. Look at that. They like made up their own rules and they're like, good job. We are consistent with rules that we made up. Very cool. According to the short description, the chat added a simple plot and used to... Oh no, it did not add the plot. That was just a mention of something. There is nothing happening with the plot. Disadvantage. The dialogue requires some follow-up work. A lot of it. Some phrases need to be changed. No, that's not the problem. To make it look more plausible. Phrases maybe, but that's not your problem. And we need to take out the match mentions of match free. I don't know, man. The match free is a bit cringy when it is like right now, but honestly, I can see that actually working. If they make it really in it, it's kind of sort of a interacting with not interacting, but like communicating through fourth wall. I can see that working. Match free game, like no one expects match free game to have a good story. You can at least play on it and do kind of like a Deadpool kind of a thing where you are actually talking with the audience. Okay, creating technical tasks for specialists. For ease of evaluation, we asked ChatGPT to describe the mechanics of the popular 2013 game Flappy Bird and decompose it into tasks for specialists. To make sure that the game materials was included in the training dataset of the model, we asked if it knew the game. Do you know the game Flappy Bird? Please answer briefly. Answer briefly. 10 sentences right in here. Yes, I'm familiar with the chat with the game Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird was mobile, but yes, we do get it. Yes, that's a brief answer. Just yes. Everything else useless. We then asked the chatbot to write a technical description of the mechanic involved with controlling the bird and to make a list of tasks for the programmer, artist, and animator. Honestly, I don't think you even need an animator for Flappy Bird. Because it's just like rotating the character. I guess the waving the wings. So I think I have even a tutorial that makes a Flappy Bird in an hour. Objective. The objective of the game is to navigate bird through a series of obstacles by tapping the screen to make the bird flap its wings, allowing to ascend and descend. Gameplay, tap input, primary control, blah blah blah. Each tap generates momentum, ascent. Gravity consciously pulls the bird downwards, require regular tapping to maintain height. Makes sense. Collision detection is implemented to detect collisions between the bird and the game's environment, obstacles, pipes. Yep. If the bird collides with an obstacle or the ground, the game is over. Okay, that's actually not a bad description. So far, this is somewhat usable. I guess it works if it's a very, very simple game. The player receives points for successfully passing each pair of pipes without collision. The score is displayed on the screen. Makes sense. Programming, implement, I feel like you don't even need to break it down this much. You just give this. This is enough. Develop collision detection algorithm. You are not gonna write the whole engine just to make Flappy Bird. Let's be real here. Animate the bird to create smooth, fluid wings, flopping, blah blah blah. Animate obstacles to simulate the scrolling effect the bird progresses. Fair enough. That's actually good. Wait, this is not gonna be animated though. You need to make it programmatically. Well, I guess you could animate it, but you are way better off moving everything and just do it programmatically. These instructions are not very good. From the first answer, it's clear that ChatGPT is really familiar with the game and understands its basic elements. Fair enough. ChatGPT correctly correlated the roles and tasks of specialists on the project, so not necessarily. Tasks contain sufficient details and comments, yep, but the tasks are wrong. They are not a very good way how to approach that. Let's see, we're almost there. ChatGPT is a powerful and promising tool that can help solve a wide range of tasks, but as it has been proved today, it cannot fully replace the work of a game designer. So that's what you are trying to prove? If that's what you were trying to prove, put it on the start. No, that's not what it was so about. This has gotta be a ChatGPT written. In this article, we show game designers how ChatGPT can be used as a game dev tool in real life. Yeah, fair. That would be interesting exploration. But here you are trying to prove that ChatGPT is used just to replace game designers. Those are completely different tests. Modern AI algorithms aren't yet capable of creativity, intuitive decision making. I would not agree with that at all. What does intuitive decision making mean? For game designers, the emotional aspect of games plays a larger role, and its also area remains a unique human skill. Not true at all. If you just prompted him better, it would not be the case. Nevertheless, ChatGPT will be a great help for new game designers. Not just new game designers. Every single game designer should make use of it. It can serve as a tool for analyzing and searching for information, as well for creating templates and example of design documents. Yep, but you have enough templates and examples. You just look at there have been enough game devs created to know what's template and to get enough examples and templates. Experienced developers can use ChatGPT to help generate ideas and quickly solve well-defined tasks. The conclusion is not too bad, actually. This last sentence I can mostly probably agree with. Let's see, do we have the most generic comments here? Let's see, maybe they are serious. Interesting share on this article. Actually, I like using AI as idea generator to see what it comes up. But I think beyond that, it's better to write them out as some out of the responses are a bit simplified or generic. It can be useful to help kickstart ideas. Yep, agree, absolutely. Very useful to think through it as an assistance tool. Thank you for great article. I just played a bit with Google Bard on the same ideas but different queries. And I can say that does a great job as well. Does a great job. Are we comparing the same thing? Hello? Those were really insightful prompts. The answers are also quite well framed too. The answers, no, they are not. Can you suggest any more resources, such as which show the framing of the GDD? Wait, what? Any more resources like such which show the framing of the GDD? Guys, I'm gonna show you, all of you, while you are here. Game design document. If you are looking for a game design document, you want one thing. Nothing else you ever need. You need this. Okay, this is good enough. I would remove from here a bunch of stuff, but well, I guess maybe not. But you don't need anything more complicated than this. Let's not go crazy here, guys. And especially if you're an indie developer, if you're making a game by yourself, you're just gonna fall into a trap of writing 50-page long game design document, and nothing's gonna come out of that. Just don't do that, guys. Not a good idea. Sure, if you're working in a team with like 20, 30 other people and more, you probably need to have a document so you are sure that you have a collective language and everyone understands what's happening. But if you are working by yourself, you are working in a small team, you're just gonna lose time. Okay, guys, conclusion for this. Not great. I'm very much suspecting this was written by ChatGPT. But let's see. Let me see, actually. Let's see. Can just pass this thing there. Ah, wait, no. What did I do? Oh, that's way too much. Wait. How did I remove 5,000 lines of text? Now that's different text. That's not it. Check. I doubt that. I don't know, man. Very suspicious. Very, very suspicious indeed. 3%. I would give it 70% at the lowest, more like 80 to 90. No, the other one wasn't different. That was different text. It's like the default one. You just click here on ChatGPT and you can see generate some different text. That was something else. I would love. It would be really funny if this was 94%, but nah, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. I'm afraid. I'm very suspicious though. 3% seems very little. That I do not trust. Yeah, it's on the. It should be on the chat as well. I'm gonna link it one more time just to make sure. Either way, go check the article. They are still like reacting to the content someone else created, and that needs to be properly credited. So in the YouTube, it's of course gonna be in the description. Here it's on the chat. So let's, especially if it's actually written by human, then I'm a bit disappointed. But other than that, we still need to give a proper credit. 7 minutes was a reading time. Jesus, we read it for like an hour. That was fun. That was fun, guys. What do you think, guys? Do we get any conclusion? Any strategies and thoughts that you have from this? I would, if I was to put it together, ChatGPT, really useful. You definitely want to use it, but right now it's more to help brainstorm and figure stuff out. It's definitely can't do tasks for you yet.